And the flexibility depends on the kind of load you want to carry. If it's a light load, it can be fairly flexible. But if it's a fairly heavy load you want to carry, say about 100 pounds in each basket, or even more, it will be fairly stiff. But as soon as you pick up the pole, the load will start to oscillate. The trick is you get it on your shoulder. When it goes up, you walk forward. When it's setting down, you're in place. And that's why you see this slight jog. You don't see anyone walking that way. There's a rhythm. And once you find the rhythm, you can switch poles while you're walking. And these are things you learn when you see a smaller man doing heavy work. In Hong Kong, I've seen ladies carrying 100 kilos. And I know, when I saw it, I knew how they were doing it because I had to go through the same thing. But when you tell people that someone is carrying 220 pounds, you have to get it through your head first, that it's not impossible. For instance, even in the tropics, cement bags do not come in 100-kilo bags. They come in 50-kilo bags, 110 pounds, because it's so dense. There's no way you can make it live. You have to make the load live. Okay, imagine if you're carrying a 10-pound kitty cat. That's a pretty good sized cat. But if you can imagine a dead cat, 10 pounds, there's a big difference in the weight. Dead weight is impossible. It's just, there's no way you can maneuver it. You can see firemen picking up 150 pound, 180 pound person, carrying them, right? They could be unconscious, but they're not dead. Okay, when I was 85 pounds, I was working at the ranch, and part of the roundup is to flank calves, 250, 300 pounds, put them down on the ground so you can castrate them if they're a bull calf, vaccinate them, brand them, and notch the ears. You do that within 30 seconds. But pick up a 200-pound calf and drop them on the ground. That's what I had to learn how to do when I was 85 pounds. No. Oh, you want to know how?
I want to know your meals. What do you eat?
As a prisoner?
Yes.
Okay. You know what a bowl of rice is, right?
Yes.
2 bowls of rice a day, and a soup that is made usually from dongua, pumpkin, sweet potatoes, cucumbers, anything that they could get. Meat we saw maybe once a week. Fat we never saw. I would have loved to see my cholesterol number after the war. And that's what we ate. Now, the trick was the Japanese issued rice per working man. No one else. So half the camp is not working, you're on half ration. The rule of thumb in the camp was that everyone ate. Sick, dying or alive. Everyone ate the same. We were a perfect socialist society. Food came in, everyone got equal share.
Do you try to catch thief or mice?
We ate anything that moved. When we first got into camp in October, they got us a native cow, pretty skinny, but it was a whole animal. So, having been a meat cutter and also having done butchering work at the ranch, I helped the butcher skin and butcher the cow. So he took the liver, the heart, and threw it away, threw it to the side with the guts and everything. And I said, "Are you going to throw that away?" I said, "Of course." I said, "Nobody eats liver." Yeah. I said, "They don't?" I said, "May I keep it?" He said, "Sure." I cut over, then I cracked the skull, cut the brain out. I took the liver, the heart, and I even took the tripe. I had to clean it, of course, and he asked me, "What are you going to do with that?" I said, "Eat it." And he looked at me as if I were crazy. But then he started to throw the bones away. That was when I couldn't take it anymore. I said, I took the bones and cleaned them. And he said, "What are you going to do with that?" I said, "We're going to make soup." This was in the beginning. We hadn't gone through any hunger yet. And I said, "There's a lot of edible stuff that you're throwing away. But can you guys may not be old enough, but in Chinatown, okay, you're not old enough to remember, Butchertown was on 3rd Street. And on Friday, and on Friday afternoon, they would bring a truck, and it would have lungs, heart, liver, kidneys, stuff like that they threw away. But they knew the Chinese would eat it. And they had no trouble getting rid of it.
So you're 90-something now. How old are you now? 90-something?
I'm 91.
91. You're still a young man yet.
No, I'm not.
After the war, you come back to the United States.
Yes.
Did you stay in the military or you come, went to school?
I was in the military 78 months. 6.5 years.
Yeah, but 3 of them were in prisoner of war. Yes.
That's the reason I stayed in the service. Because, okay.
It's a lot of back pay.
There's another story. On the 4th of July, 1942, we had to sign an oath of allegiance to the Imperial Japanese Army. 2 weeks before that, the Japanese threatened, if we didn't sign this statement, if we didn't sign the allegiance, that they would start shooting one officer a day. They didn't say a senior officer or junior officer, where they were going to start. But General Blackburn, who was the senior officer of the camp, of about 2,500 people, decided after 2 weeks that duress had been shown, and we could sign again on protest. So all the enlisted men signed first, then the officers signed. So I'm an old-fashioned person. I sign my name to something, it means something, even under protest. So I figure I should have at least as much time in the U.S. Army that I had in the Japanese Army. I've never applied for a pension in the Japanese Army. I often wonder what would happen if I did. But
You will be the first one.
You don't
Sir?
want it.
You will be the first one who will buy the pension. Sir, the book on your left, this is your book.
That's his story.
That's his story. And this, you wrote, you the whole.
I edited it.
Yeah.
I helped him write it. But it's all in his own words.
okay,
Eddie, you would tell us a little bit about your reunions and how joyful they were.
well, okay, you guys have been in the military, so you will understand this. We have met once a year since 1945. And my wife used to ask me, says, what do you guys do there? Tell war stories? I said, oh no, that's the last thing we do. I said, it's the matter of being with people that you were willing to die for. And even now, if someone needed help, we'd be sure that they got it. Because I asked her, I said, how many friends can you count on both hands? I said, people you can really count on. And I gave her something to think about. We meet for about used to be 4 or 5 days, but now it's about 3 days. And it's just the fact that year after year, we grow older, but our feelings towards each other has never changed. And it's the kind of bond that only hardship can build. And I don't want anyone to have to go through that kind of hardship to build that kind of bond. But I wish that you have the opportunity to build a bond without the hardship. Another thing I can think of, for instance, when we were in the camps, and my experience, having been on the farm in Stockton, helped me out. If any one of you have cooked rice in a pot, you know how hard it is to clean the pot. But you also know how easy it is when you form the crust, the pancil. One day, when I had a free day from work, and the cooks, I went to the cookhouse, and they were cursing and scrubbing, scraping the woks. They had provided us with woks to cook in. And that's what we used in the farm. So I said, that was for the noon meal. So I told Vince, the cook, I said, will you get ready to cook tonight? I said, do you mind if I come by? He said, no, we don't care. So they washed the rice, and they had it ready to cook. And I looked at it. I said to Vince, I said, you know you got too much water in there. And she said, what do you mean? I said, so I skimmed off the water, and I don't know if you guys do it, but palm of your hand on top of the rice. Right. Now, everyone who cooks rice has a different way of doing it. You know, they might use a knuckle, but whatever you do, you know the level of the rice, water you want. And it doesn't look like it's enough. It looks like you're going to burn the rice.
That's right.
But anyhow, Vince said, you're going to burn the rice. I said, no, you won't. So, built the fire, got the coals, spread the coals around so the rice was steep. So far, nothing is different. So the rice is cooked, he's ready to scoop it out into baskets. So he scooped it out, and there's this layer of rice that doesn't scoop out. I said, okay. I said, Vince, I said, I'll spread the coals around evenly. And I said, he said, then what? He started to lift the wok out. I said, no, leave it right there. And within 15, 20 minutes, it had formed a crust. And I scraped it a little bit to see if it was free. And I picked up the whole shell. And I said, now you can go wash your wok. But he said, what do we do with this? I said, the sick would love it. I said, the people in the hospital who have a hard time eating rice that they need to eat to stay alive, I said, this will be a treat for them. He said, maybe a little hard on the teeth, but I said, if you don't crisp it quite so much, it'll be a little softer, it'll be easier to eat. So, it was little things like this that I could help them with because I'd had some experience with cooking in a wok. In the beginning, when they were handed woks, they didn't even know what they were. How in the world can you cook in this? And, but it was this sort of thing that we all had to learn, that any one of us could help each other. You know, chook was the other thing that was a puzzle to him. When I taught him how to make chook for breakfast with a little sugar water, and you know, just to be different from rice, and they couldn't believe it, that you could do such a thing. So, it's just little things that you never think of until you have to.
I was born in 38 in Hong Kong. In the 40, the bomb Hong Kong,
Yeah.
the totally. My mother carried me on the back from Hong Kong, walked to Toisan,
Yeah, right?
and whatever we could find on the floor, in the street, and we have to eat it. That's the only food we have. And there's maybe, I don't know, a couple hundred, couple thousand people escaped from the city to Toisan. That's what I was there too. I seen the problem. I seen what we need to find to eat. Maybe swimming or crawling on the stream on the side. We try to survive. I seen it and I did. We did it. My brother and I did, and a whole bunch of other.
You reminded me of something. When we were in Thailand, and food was pretty good, and we got a whole fish fried, about 6 inches long. So I got to the head of the line, and I asked the first person, I said, "Are you going to eat the head?" And he said, "Of course not." I said, "May I have it?" I collected all the heads, and you guys are laughing. Anyhow, I went around collecting even the carcass bones, if they had saved them. So finally one of the guys asked me, said, "Eddie, what are you going to do with that?" I said, "Watch." So I took the heads apart, and of course there's some meat, but not much. But there's some meat in the head. And so I said, "I have a cheesecloth." I bundled up all the heads. I said, "I'm going to make a fish broth." So naturally with fried food, there's some flavor. So when I got the gravy, we made some flour out of rice and thickened the soup and made gravy. And I said, "That's what you're going to put on your next rice to help flavor." So they found out that no matter what it is, food can be found anywhere, everywhere. You gotta look for it.
It sounds like you made a gourmet out of yourself, sir.
Sir?
Sounds like you made a gourmet out of yourself. I always thought the prison camps was lousy food, but it seems like you made do. So it's just, so we're laughing because I thought the food was lousy, but it seems like you had a good time. You found a way to make that bad time better.
Well, my wife will tell you, I never leave anything on the plate or bowl.
Literally.
That's all right.
He licks his dishes.
That's a nutrition thing.
He doesn't want to waste.
You don't have to wash dishes.
Any other questions for our distinguished guests?
Oh yeah, what do you do after you get out of the army? I know you got married, and what kind of what you do?
After the war.
Yeah, after the war.
I worked as a butcher for a couple of years.
Not for Safeway.
Oh, no. That was before the plastic containers
Yes.
and the wrappers.
Yes.
We sold meat by the piece,
Yes.
and customers would come up to you and ask for a certain cut. I mean, not all packaged. But anyway, I was studying at nights, and my sister saw me studying, and she said, "What are you up to?" I said, "I thought I might finish high school courses." I had dropped out after 1 year of high school, thinking that I knew everything. And so she said, "Have you thought about taking a GED test?" And naturally, I didn't know what GED test was. So she explained to me, said, "Well, at the junior college." And I said, "What's junior college?" So she told me, go up and ask if I could take a GED test, and then what to do afterwards if I wanted to do more. So took the GED test and passed it, and found out that I could start at JC if I, so I decided to go back to school, knowing that there was a lot to learn.
You did not went into the post office, did you? Did you work for the post office?
No,
I did.
Two lights. Too lightweight. Eddie is a very, very modest man. You can imagine how many people's lives he affected in the camp by providing food and cooking and all kinds of techniques. He's a Tai Chi master now, right? Student, well, the master. He did many things that he's too humble to admit.
Actually, he went to Stanford and got a degree in chemistry. And
Modest guy.
became a metallurgist. He worked at the Livermore Lab.
Livermore Lab.
Hired as a chemist metallurgist.
If you read his book, you find out a lot of other things that he's done that you'll be very proud of him. But Eddie, for your great service to your colleagues, your country, Commander Wong and I would like to present you with our American Legion Cathay Post special recognition for your courage, intelligence, loyalty, and patriotism exemplified in both your life as a veteran and as a citizen of the United States of America.
Roger, it may shock you to know that we were ashamed of ourselves for being prisoners of war.
And this is the man who's forgiven the enemy. There are not many people who've done that.
No, not forgiven.
Okay. What's the word you use?
Well, I don't know what the word is, but okay. To say that we have forgive, not forget.
Okay.
On behalf of Cathay Post, we want to present this certificate to you, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for asking me.
Commander Wong, with your permission, I'm going to make a resolution next month, make it our honorary member of the Cathay Post.
Do not,
Perhaps the first one.
please, do not.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, at least we try.
Okay.
You consider it as your honor.